Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear learner, how are you? I hope you are well by the Almighty Allah. Dear learner, for the COVID-19 virus, you are in the house. You are well. For a long time, we couldn't connect with you in our class. Dear learner, today I am very happy because I am sharing my opinion with you. Dear learner, today we are going to learn an important topics in your class because this topics has not related in class 8. That means the before class. For this reason, it's new for you. Dear learner, we have to some conception about the questions. Dear learner, I want to ask some question and answer some question because you are not directly in front of me. Dear learner, what is called of questions? Questions is called to ask something. That means to know something, to require something, to search something, to inquire something is called a question. Dear learner, question may three types: WH question, yes no question, and tag question. Dear learner, WH question. What do we mean by understand about WH question? Those whose question answer is to be narrated. That means need a require information. That is called a tag question. That is, if we ask someone how he is or how he was, he should have to answer to me, he is well, he was well, and may some answer vary and may have a description of the answer. But in the another way, some of question answer is in the question or is in the sentence. That is called a yes no question. Such as example, have you eaten rice? Have you eaten rice? This answer will be yes or no. Have you eaten rice? What's the identification answer? Rice. That means yes. Yes sir or no sir. Some an example, have you played football? Yes sir or no sir. That means football and rice is in the sentences. For this reason, that is called yes no question. That is also called the auxiliary verb made questions. But some type of question has asked for verifying the sentence. That is called a tag question. That means some of the sentence has add a question to verify the sentence. That is called tag question. Dear learner, we are learning about tag question. Today we are going to learn some type of questions. What is tag question? To ask something. To ask something with a statement. To ask something with a statement for verifying the sentence. If the statement true or false, if it is correct or not, verify. That means assess the sentence. That is called a tag question. Here is an example. I am a student. I am a student. আমি একজন শিক্ষার্থী. Ain't I? Here the sentence make ain't I. But if we follow the under of the sentence example, the sentence Rana is not present. Rana isn't present. Here is he? The tag questions. Dear learner, I am a student is a affirmative sentence. It confesses something, it expresses something, it's not denote. It's not denote. Rana is not present. Here, Rana is not present. That means Rana is absent. The sentence expresses the negative meanings. But I am a student expresses the affirmative meaning. Dear learner, for this reason, from choose example, we learned if the sentence affirmative, tag must be negative. If the statement negative, tag must be affirmative. Dear learner, there are two conditions to make a tag question. If the statement is affirmative, tag must be negative. If the statement becomes negative, tag must be affirmative. Dear learner, it is our learning point. Learner comes to the main points. How do we make tag question? Number one, if we find auxiliary verb in the statement, in the statements, we make the tag with the auxiliary verb, means 24 operators. If we find auxiliary verb in the statement, we make the tag with auxiliary verbs 24 moderator. Example, Rakib is reading a book. Here, Rakib is reading a book. Dear learner, I have said in the before that if the sentence or if the statement express the meaning of affirmative, its tag must be negative. Here is an auxiliary verb, so is used for making tag question. Rakib is the name of a boy, or Rakib may express the male gender. Since of male gender, we should have to use the pronoun form of the subject. Male, exchange of male gender always must be used he if it is in the singular meanings. Dear learner, here is again, if we find auxiliary verb in the statements, we make the tag with auxiliary verb 24. How many auxiliary verbs in the English literature? There are 24 moderator or 24 auxiliary verbs in the English literature. That means am, is, are, was, were, shall, should, can, could, may, might, etc. That has given in your assistant books. Please follow the assistant books and try to understanding with commit to memory. And then when you find after subject, generally it is known to all that auxiliary verb must be used after subject. We find it auxiliary verb. When we find the statement auxiliary verb, we must be use auxiliary verb, auxiliary verb. That means when the subject and subject may be male or female. If it is male, it will be he. If it is female, it will be she. That means if the subject is plural number, there it will be the plural form of pronoun. That means it will be they. Dear learner, the next we will learn if we find in the statements no auxiliary verb. No auxiliary verb. We used dear learner, if we find no auxiliary verb in the sentence, if we find in the statement no auxiliary verb, we can make the tag with do, does, did. According to the tense. Says, dear learner, firstly I have to say that if the statement we find auxiliary verb, we must make tag question with the auxiliary verb. But if we do not find auxiliary verb in the sentence, that means if we find in the statement no auxiliary verb is still existing, we can make the tag with do, does, did according to the tenses. Dear learners, as an example, Kamal reads a book. If you noticed very carefully, you follow that there is no auxiliary verb. There is only a verb called reads. Kamal reads a book. Kamal, that means Kamal is third person singular number. If the verb is third person singular number, we must have to use does in the singular subject. The sentence expresses the affirmative meaning. For this reason, it will be doesn't. Doesn't Kamal, here's the Kamal. Kamal's pronouns forms is he. For this reason, Kamal's pronoun form will be used here. Such another example, I saw a tiger yesterday. I saw a tiger yesterday. I saw a tiger yesterday. Dear learner, didn't I? Why we have used here didn't? Because so express the past indefinite tenses. When it's expressed the past indefinite, we must be used didn't. And I pronoun, I is also a pronoun form. For this reason, it will not be changed. Dear learner, before learning of tag question thoroughly, we must have to the negative form of the words. How do we use the negative form of the word? We have to learn it. Dear learner, we have described about the negative form of it. Am not become ain't. Is not isn't, are not, aren't. Dear student, am not, maybe, aren't. Will not, aren't. Cannot, can't. Dear student, in this way, you can learn the contradict negative forms of the auxiliary verb. Dear student, I expect your good health. You are staying. Please do not forget to like, comment, and share. Do you have any problems? Please comment on the video. I will try to solve the next class. Dear student, you are thanks. So thanks and congratulations. Thanks all everybody.